first part that I've learned about hammock camping during the winter was some new methods to be able to have as hammock suspensions. The one that I've ended up using, ended up developing, is mostly a method developed by Sergeant Rock, utilizing mule tape, a couple whoopee hooks from Dutch ware, and then Dynaglide UCR. And I've done this one in two colors to be able to see the difference. That's put on the tree like this. If I had a little bit longer one, or if the tree was a little bit smaller, I'd go twice around the tree. Put this up right about my eye height, and then this UCR can be changed in its length by either pulling up or down on this adjustable section. One of the things that I've done is to go back and backstitch, and I've backstitched with a contrasting color of black on this orange to make sure that none of those threads are breaking. I also have a little drip strip made out of a pack cloth, like Sergeant Rock showed on one of his films. The first piece of equipment that I've gone ahead and built this winter has been this simple gathered end hammock. It's made out of 1.1 ripstop. It has UCRs at each end. The end seam was turned over for a total of 3 thicknesses, and then a lark's head with an extra wrapping was used to gather each of those ends with a dog bone at each end. That is connected at this end with a whoopee hook, and also it has the whoopee hook on the mule tape up at the tree. This has been a really nice little hammock. I tried a full width hammock, but most of my hammocks have been this size. These edges, in order to keep the stitches from becoming the constrictor, as this relatively thin material stretches, I've done zigzag stitches so that the thread doesn't end up being the part that is the last to fail. Don't want that to happen. So first thing is just a simple little gathered end hammock. The second piece of technology that I learned from the hammock group and started playing with this winter was the idea of a ridgeline. This one, which sounds about a middle C, is I suppose a structural ridgeline. It's made out of a piece of Dynaglide as well. I like the contrasting colors between some of the different colors of the Dynaglide, so I can tell in the bag what rope or what line is what line. So again, just a simple little hammock now with a ridge line. That's the technology. The next piece of technology is the underquilt that I built. Built that from a Kmart pillow. Probably would have been a lot lighter if I would have built it out of nice 900 down. This was calculated about 600. This has kept me nice and warm for a couple cold nights so far. And this week I think I'm going to be able to go down well below 10 in a night we're going to have here in another day or two. The underquilt stays up nice and firm against my back every place. There are no openings either at either end or or underneath, and so it keeps me nice and warm. I really like this, and I can see using a lighter version of this, perhaps with about twice as many baffles and only about an inch thick for summertime. Thinking about building that with about 3 or 4 ounces of down in it. So this is the next stage of equipment that I've built over this last month. I really like this idea. The only thing it doesn't give me is the ability to easily escape to the ground with a pad or to a shelter floor in the Appalachian Trail. The next new piece of technology that I learned from the Hammock Forum involved making a winter sock. This is a copy of several that I saw videos on the Hammock Forum site. I believe it's originally as a copy of a war bonnet version, and this was pretty easy to put together. It doesn't weigh very much, and it works really well. So now what I have is I have the hammock. That's a new 4 foot by 9 foot hammock with a new underquilt under it, and I have an oversock over top of that. The only thing that I don't have in this right now is my overquilt, which I've had for a number of years. It sure makes a nice way to take a nap. Or to have a little hole to be able to see outside. See ya. For packing up in the field, you don't need to go through all that business of one layer after the other. I just wanted to demonstrate what all the layers were. I've now added my overquilt inside this. So we zip it up. And then since each end of the hammock can be undone at a whoopee hook, I have a mitten hook that this dog bone can be connected to so it doesn't fall in. I saw that on one of the posts here recently this winter on the hammock forums. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to open up the Velcro at the other end so that the air will go ahead and leave. And then I'm going to pack it just directly, not in a compression sack, but just inside the plastic garbage sack inside the pack. Need to remember to hook up the mitten hook. And hook up the other mitten hook. That all mashes down into the bottom half of the pack, and along with my clothes, then I go ahead and wrap an elephant trunk, hold that over, and keep the pieces that aren't critical as far as getting involved with water in the top half. One lesson I learned this weekend is not to leave the UCRs sitting out on the tree. I did that yesterday afternoon, and it would have been bad news if I would have walked out 15 miles on the Appalachian Trail someplace and left them sitting back there. It would have been a long walk back. Just to remember, there needs to be some looking around to make sure that these things, which are no longer attached to the hammock like they always have been for me, have been taken care of. I usually put one on one side of the pack, so I remember so they don't get tangled in each other, and then I put the other in the other side of the pack. Hey, y'all have a great day. This is Risk.